Hey everyone, Gary Elysium's here. Welcome back. We're going to be getting into another recent CD purchase video. Before we get this video, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. It helps support my channel. So it's a very cold Monday morning. A little tired, but I want to get this video in before I head off to work later today. These are the CDs I got this past weekend, and we're going to go through them. A couple CDs are just, remastered stuff that I bought that I own the originals of. Alright, gotta get into it with the first one, We Are Chaos by Marilyn Manson. This is his latest album. I think the last, 2020 release. Last album he released. Not really that familiar with his later stuff. Kind of in the mid 2000s, I kind of got away from listening to his stuff, but I'll throw this on, see how it is. Could always use it for my Manson collection. Next up, this was a cheap one, but it's Thin Lizzy from the Icon series. Basically, I don't have a greatest hits or anything of Thin Lizzy, so that's what this is here. 11 tracks on here. Features, well, in my opinion, they only really have 2 hits, that big hits, which were The Boys Are Back in Town and Jailbreak. There's also features other great stuff like Dancing in the Moonlight, Whiskey in the Jar, The Rocker, Still in Love with You, Rosalie, Cowboy Song. Basically all the great stuff is on here. Next up, speaking of greatest hits, Neil Young, greatest hits. I own Decade, but I don't have this collection, which I think is a little better. Just kind of condenses it down to like his main tracks, and it's remastered, so it's got a better sound. Next we have the Best of Marvin Gaye. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of greatest hits here, but this one's cool because it collects all his stuff from the 60s Motown and the 70s. Usually with Marvin Gaye, it's like here's the 60s stuff, here's the 70s stuff, but this collects both of them in one. Another best of, got a lot of best ofs in this video. Best of Benny King. Benny King, obviously from the Drifters, so there's some songs on here from the Drifters, and also features Spanish Harlem, his biggest hit, Stand By Me, Here Comes the Nights on here. Pretty cool collection. So yeah, there's 5 Drifters songs, 5 Drifters hits, and the rest are from his solo career. Next up, this is a newer CD, released in the end of 2021. This is Volbeat. First album I owned from Volbeat. I do like a few of their songs, never really fully listened to all their albums. This is Servant of the Mind. I did hear the song Shotgun Blues come on the radio. I don't really listen to radio, but it kind of came on as I was switching CDs, and I heard the intro guitar riff, and I thought, wow, this is really good. And I saw this at Target, so I picked it up. Next, this one's cool. This one's called Standing in the Doorway. Chrissie Hynde sings Bob Dylan. Chrissie Hynde, obviously the front woman for the Pretenders. She does a collection of 9 tracks, all Bob Dylan songs, as the title states, and she does it in her own way. And it's, some really good Bob Dylan songs on here. You're a Big Girl Now is great. Blind Willie McTell, great song. It's one of my favorites from Bob Dylan. Love Mine is Zero, Tomorrow's a Long Time, Every Grain of Sand. Really cool collection here. I love the album artwork. You have the train there with the American flag, kind of reminiscent of, Bob Dylan's Americana. They start in the early 60s. Another one, this one was pretty cheap. Introduction to Dr. John. I only own like 2 albums by Dr. John, so I picked this up to, basically just a compilation to throw on here and there. 10 tracks on there. More greatest hit stuff's coming in. Chuck Berry, the Definitive Collection. I own the Great 28, which is an amazing Chuck Berry collection, but this one is remastered, has 30 tracks on here as opposed to 28, and a couple different tracks that the Great 28 doesn't include, and this also includes stuff that the Great 28 doesn't have, or has, that doesn't. Next up, this was like $1, brand new, so I grabbed it. Peter Frampton's Greatest Hits. Next, this is the 2 CD anniversary edition of one of my favorite albums of all time. In my opinion, probably the greatest album of all time. This is the 2-disc version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Obviously the 1967 masterpiece by the Beatles. Features a really cool, if I can get it out here, booklet, nice thick booklet. Really cool essay in there. A lot of different photos about the making of the album. 2 disc. First disc is the original album remastered. Second disc is basically just stuff that they recorded during the sessions that was also featured on Anthology. So with these anniversary editions, as I noticed they've been doing with, they did it with this, they did it with Abbey Road, Let It Be, and the White Album. They basically did the album sequence, but they used it with the, you know, the different takes and the rehearsal and the demos and placed in that. And we also have stuff that they recorded for Magical Mystery Tour, the singles from that time, like Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, a couple different versions of that. Next up is the Yellow Submarines soundtrack. This is the remastered version. I already own this one. I got this, I remember when this one it came out back in, I think, 99. So I just got the remastered version. Not that this will replace this in my CD shelf, but I'll actually get rid of anything. So this is going to be on my collection. The other one's going to go in a box, but not to get rid of. Next up, remastered. This is Beatles 1. I already own this. Oh, there it is. Beatles 1. I bought this when it came out. This was amazing. I basically wore this thing out, non-stop playing with it. This is the CD and DVD. It really sold me on the DVD. Unfortunately, I've been having bad luck, as you've seen in my videos. It came with Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, the Criterion Collection, Disc 2. So I'm gonna have to return this and, you know, get another one. Hopefully it has the right DVD in there this time. But the only thing with this is I'm gonna keep both these in my collection. But this I'm keeping is because the booklet is much better. It has all the pictures of all these single 45 sleeves as the band released them. Keep open it there. And the new Beatles 1 remastered does not include that. Yeah, booklet is just basically an essay. Doesn't have all the pictures. Has some pictures, but not all the pictures of all the 45s. That the other one does, so both of them will be staying on the CD wall behind me. Next up is one I needed for my Bowie collection, which I didn't have it on CD for some reason tonight. Not his greatest album, but I do like it. There are some great songs on here. Some of my favorites, Loving the Alien, Blue Jeans, obviously awesome, and Neighborhood Threat. This is the newest remaster from 2019. Excuse me. Next up, Disturbed, 10,000 Fists. I think I've had this before, but I recently don't have it, so I bought it again. I was a big fan of Disturbed when they first came out with The Sickness, and that was basically it. I never really got into them after that, but there are some cool radio hits that are on here, so I picked it up for that. Next up, I didn't grab my original copy, but I had original CD pressing of Oxa Moxa. So this is the 50th anniversary deluxe edition. Features the original 1969 mix remastered, along with a 1971 remix on this first disc. Second disc is a complete live show, live at the Avalon Ballroom, San Francisco, from January 24th to January 26th. Really cool that they put the artwork on the disc like that. I love that colorful disc, and this is the original back cover of the album on disc 2. Next is first time singing on CD. I did see this on vinyl. This is Megadeth Unplugged in Boston, 2021 release, digipack. This is a unplugged set from a bar in Boston from May 9th, 2001. So it does have a lot of their later stuff, like Trust is on here, Use the Man, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, but there are also some great classic tracks like Holy Wars on here, Symphony of Destruction, but stuff like Almost Honest and She Wolf I do like. So pretty cool to hear Megadeth unplugged. Next, some reason I never had this yet, the live anthology of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is a 2009 release, 4-disc box set. But what I like about this box set is basically the same size of a standard CD. 4 different discs, basically just live tracks taken throughout his entire career from the mid 70s up until, you know, the 2000s. Really cool stuff here, and it sounds great. The remastering on this is amazing. Even the live tracks from the 70s sound like you're at the concert. It's really good sound on this. Next I got Rolling Stones Honk. Never had this one in my Rolling Stones collection. Rolling Stones are probably my second favorite band, right behind the Beatles. Honk, this is the deluxe edition with 3 discs, 2 discs of greatest hits. The 3rd disc is a live disc, all previously unreleased live stuff. A lot of cool pictures of the bands, as you can see there. 3-disc digipack. So pretty pumped to have this in my collection. Next, the latest one from Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. Again, Slipknot, kind of a band that I was huge when they came out with their debut album. I remember seeing them at Ozfest before, I don't even know if the album came out yet, and I was like, what is this? This is amazing. Iowa was a great album. It kind of, you know, lost track. Later on, I got back into Volume 3, and then when All Hope Is Gone came out, I actually bought that when it came out, and I was really into that. Once they kind of lost Paul Gray, the other one, 0.5, the Gray chapter, I did hear that, and I wasn't really into it. This one is okay. So, some really good tracks on there, and other stuff just kind of stay out for me, but cool to have in my collection. Alright, last one I have, Gaucho by Steely Dan. Needed to grab this for my collection, my Steely Dan collection. Did not own it, even though it includes my favorite Steely Dan track of all time, Hey 19. Really cool album. Of course, these kind of hard to classify them. Kind of the jazz, soft rock, prog band. Anyway, great band by Steely Dan. So, everyone, that's my video of my latest CD purchases from the last weekend. Again, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And a little treat coming this week, probably within the next day or two, ranking the studio albums of Ronnie James Dio. So I'm kind of pumped to do that. Very hard to do, but I'm excited. Again, everyone, thanks for watching, and love reading your comments. Take care.